I'm Amanda, head bag maker here at Be Mandy Things. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you want bag making that feels easier, is clearer, and you want to have fun doing it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Today's episode is all about magnetic snaps. This is my Starry Tote Bag pattern, and for closure, it has magnetic snaps. These are two pieces that are magnetized and will snap closed together, and then you just pull them to open them up. It gives a little bit extra security to the tote bag so that items inside don't fall out as easily. Today's episode is all about showing you how to install these quick and easy. Let's get to it. Supplies you will need to install your mag snap into your lining. You will first need your mag snap. I've got these linked in the description box down below if you are interested in where you can find some. I typically buy these in bulk, and you will receive a female end, a male end. These are the Prong-style, as well as the piece to attach to the back. Another item that you'll want to have close by is your fray check or your fray block. You will also need your handy seam ripper, your bestie, or your enemy, depending on how you choose to look at it. You will need some kind of marking pen, preferably an erasable one or a water-soluble one. You will need 2 scraps of SF101 interfacing. I like to use a scrap of foam interfacing. You could also use fusible fleece interfacing, and some kind of a ruler to measure how far down you're going to place your magnetic snap. Once you have all these supplies, you're ready to install your magnetic snap. The first thing you'll need to decide is when you're working with the lining, if you want your male or female end to go on the back or the front of the lining. For me, I like to place in my tote bags, if I have a slip pocket or any kind of pocket, and there's just one side that has the pocket, I will always consider that as my back side. That's usually where I will put my label as well. I can link where I get these in the description box below as well. I get these from Inked Paper, which is a great small business on Etsy. My preference is, if it's the back of the lining, I like to place the female end on the back. It's just my preference. You do whatever works for you. The first thing you want to do is measure down how far you'll want your magnetic snap. I prefer, for this bag, this is my Starry Tote pattern, I prefer the magnetic snap to be 2 inches from the top. So I measured down, I marked my 2 inches. My next step involves taking the backing piece and placing this center hole over that mark I just made that's 2 inches down. And I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to make a mark where the 2 lines are, and that's where you're going to insert the prongs of your magnetic snap. Now that you have your 2 marks made, you're going to take your seam ripper and you're going to slice a hole where those marks are from the backing piece. This is so your magnetic snap can insert through these holes. So you just take your seam ripper like you're ripping through some thread and just make a tiny little hole. I do have interfacing on the back of this, so I just want to make sure that it went completely through, and it did. You're going to do that for both sides. You don't want to cut too much, just enough so that when you go to insert your prongs, they'll go through like that. Don't put them in yet though. Now you're going to take your fray block your fray check, and you're just going to put some over those marks that you just made. That's going to keep your fabric from tearing any further, not going anywhere once you are done, and you don't have to worry about holes or runs in the fabric. Next, you're going to place your backing piece, center it as best you can on that foam interfacing, and you're going to make holes in that as well. So you're going to place your backing piece, and you just want to make a mark where those slits are. And you're going to repeat the same thing you did with inserting a little slit into these spaces on the foam interfacing. You don't need to use the fray check on this, but this will go on the back. And I'm going to show you how in just a moment. Make sure that those slits have gone all the way through to the back. Now you're ready to insert your magnetic snap into the holes that you just made. So again, decide if you're using the male or the female end. I'm using the female. And you're just going to take those prongs, place them through the holes. I don't wait for my fray check or my fray block to dry. It'll dry. So you place it through to the back. Next, you'll take your foam interfacing and place that through the prongs as well. And then you place your backing piece over the prongs, just like so. And then you're going to take your prongs and just bend them out so that your magnetic snap is secure on this side. We placed the backing piece on this side of the foam instead of here because now you've got a nice cushion in between your magnetic snap and the backing so that it won't, after lots of wear and tear, it won't wear a hole through this side, and it just helps keep everything neat. And then your last step is to take your SF101 interfacing, and I like 2 pieces. These are both about 2¼ inch square as well, maybe 2 inch by 2¼ inch, just something big enough so that you can place it over the foam, the backing piece, and then you're just going to take your iron and adhere it to the fabric. I recommend trying to stay out of your top stitch area because if you get all of this up in here as well, that just creates extra bulk right here, and you don't want that. So that's why, number one, we place the magnetic snap as far down as we do. But also it helps when securing the SF101 so that it stays out of your stitching area up here when you go to sew the bag together and then top stitch. So take your iron and adhere to the magnetic snap. I'm going to go do that real quick and I'll meet you back here. I have adhered my 2 pieces of SF101 to all of the back part of the magnetic snap. I'm going to show you real quick how I did that. I just take my iron and slowly press down, get right up there. And I do that on all the sides. You may find you have a tiny little bubble of air through here, but as long as your sides are adhered down, that's not an issue. So I'll do that on the back and then I'll flip it over and give it a quick press on this side as well. And I get as close as I can to the magnetic snap just to make sure it's fully adhered. This is just going to protect your fabric from all the wear and tear that you're going to have from the opening and closing of the magnetic snap over time. It's going to make it so you don't have holes, and it's just going to lengthen the life of the inside of your bag or the piece that you're putting a magnetic snap on. So now that you're a Mag Snap Pro, let me know what you want me to do next. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Happy sewing!